大家好，欢迎回到本周粉头发，我是各位最好的鲁共投资顾问 Porter 老师。今天影片一开始要先带各位关注一则与台湾相关的国际消息，后半段再来看台湾本周的热门话题。先说前半段的内容，本来上周 Porter 老师就想和大家来聊了，但各位朋友也知道，上周多数台湾人，包括我个人，注意力都在棒球，所以就自动延后了几天。这则国际消息是延续补充先前影片谈到的，帮大家复习一下。现阶段有美国、欧盟、荷兰、澳洲、加拿大等国，以上都接连通过表决，声明2758号决议不涉台。而就在11月底，英国国会通过动议，也反对中国扭曲2758号决议。这个事情是这样的，英国国会下议院11月28号当天，针对台湾的国际地位进行辩论，最终也无异议通过动议，否定中国单方面曲解2758号决议，说中国不能以此主张台湾是中国的一部分。这消息暖心爽！这场会议是由对中政策跨国议会联盟 IPAC 的成员，同时也是工党籍国会议员的麦道高所发起。关于这一段辩论会议的时间大概有1个多小时，但我这边就带各位来看几段我整理的重点。如果对完整版有兴趣可以自行到英国国会网站找影片来看。平时都听 Porter 老师说，今天我们来听听国外的观点，马上来看看英国国会议员们是如何看待台湾与中国的。
But this needs to be a global conversation because the People's Republic of China is engaged in an aggressive worldwide diplomatic strategy, especially across the global south. It's a strategy that aims to secure international acceptance for its expansionist One China principle. That is to say that Taiwan is a part of a single China and that the PRC is the only legitimate government of Taiwan, denying Taiwan's democracy any distinctive international status. Of course, Resolution 2758 does not mention Taiwan at all. It doesn't address in any way the political status of Taiwan. It does not establish the PRC's sovereignty over Taiwan. It is silent on the participation of Taiwan in the United Nations and its agencies. And importantly, it has no force of impact on us as sovereign nations in terms of the relationships we choose to have with Taiwan. So the current strategy by Beijing is a distortion of international law, but it's also at odds with the long-standing policy of the United Kingdom. And it's essential that this is contested and that this debate offers the Minister and the new government the opportunity to make clear that the UK opposes this effort from the Communist government to rewrite history or to unilaterally decide the future of Taiwan. Now, debates around Taiwan are famously full of symbolism. Which flag is flown, what nomenclature is used, which seemingly synonymic words cause offence. So it would be easy to write off discussions about the interpretation of Resolution 2758 as yet another finer detail that distracts from a bigger picture. But that would be a mistake, because this is not pedantry from Beijing, this is predation. Chairman Xi watched the near-unanimous diplomatic disapproval of Russia's war of aggression in Ukraine, and he's seeking to reduce the chances of a similar chorus of condemnation towards any move against Taiwan. If the PRC's position is accepted, that the UN resolution in question endorses their sovereignty over Taiwan, then they will use that consensus at a later date to argue that any future coercion of Taiwan through arms or other means, whether blockade or annexation, would be legal. And similarly, any acceptance of Beijing's interpretation will also be used to argue that moves to prevent such coercion by Taiwan's democratic supporters is unlawful. So this is not a technical issue, but another source of increased risk for conflict across the Taiwan Strait.
麦道高有讲一个重点国际上如果接受中国主张台湾是它的一部分，那接下来我们这些不接受中共侵略的台湾人，要是站出来反抗，就会变成违法的。届时其他国家就算想帮你，他们也没办法帮，因为你就会被定义成是中国内政。因此，我们台湾人千万不能矮化自己，不要接受什么中国台北、什么中国台湾之类的，那个不只是统战用词，更是要侵害你台湾人自身权益的话术。接着带各位看这段由英国与台湾国会小组共同主席柴平恩对台湾的评价。他本人长期关注并研究台湾，来听听看他是怎么说的。
Because over the years, I've witnessed firsthand how Taiwan does actively contribute its expertise to support global partners, and that's something that we should celebrate. Because Taiwan is a leader in the fields of public health, technology, clean energy, net zero, and so much more. But despite all that Taiwan has to offer, it finds itself barred from international organisations. Since 1971, China has repeatedly used the UN General Assembly Resolution 2758 to justify its efforts to exclude Taiwan from the UN system, and it has done that hugely effectively. With a population of 23.5 million, Taiwan is the most populous self-governing state not represented at the UN. This exclusion undermines critical global cooperation efforts around particularly public health, climate change, and the realisation of the Sustainable Development Goals. Take, for example, SDG 3, promoting good health and well-being. Taiwan maintained some of the lowest case rates in the world throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. As it gained notable successes suppressing the spread of the virus, its exclusion from the World Health Organization meant that it was unable to share this expertise to the world. The official record shows that when the resolution was passed 53 years ago, its intent was merely to make a judgment on who should take up China's seat at the UN. That's it. The resolution bears no mention at all of Taiwan. It does not state that Taiwan is part of the PRC, nor does it ascribe any right for China to represent Taiwan in the UN system. And most importantly, there is no evidence that the resolution establishes, as a matter of international law, the One China principle. For all of these reasons, the resolution cannot be used as a reasonable justification to preclude Taiwan from international organisations. And as parliamentarians, we must do all that we can to contest the narrative that China's territorial claim over Taiwan is a settled issue. It is not. It is not an issue at all. China has no sovereign right over Taiwan. Resolution 2758 is one of the many grey zones used by China to encroach on Taiwan's sovereignty, and we mustn't collude with that. Recently, we've seen increased incursions into Taiwan's airspace, as well as large-scale military drills and advances close to Taiwan's contingency zone. The Chinese Coast Guard operations have been challenging Taiwan's right to control the waters around its very own territory. As China continues to challenge the boundaries and disrupts the rules-based international order, I am deeply concerned at the silence of the international community on these issues, and that silence will be interpreted by China as tacit consent.
他讲这些事情啊，我想有在看我影片的各位朋友，应该多少也都知道并认同。但今天从别人口中听到啊，还是觉得感动，以及忍不住一阵鼻酸。台湾人过去真的太委屈了，幸好现在时代变了，起风啦！现在英国国会议员人家看得多清楚，中共正在加速倒车，这时候还要拉台湾站过去中国旁边的，很多都是身带任务的，千万不要上当。同场会议中，另一位 IPAC 成员菲尔也表明了中国对台湾的威胁，并举例了新疆吐蕃、香港等案例。
Madam Deputy Speaker, China's increasingly aggressive behaviour towards Taiwan is yet another alarming example of its consistent and blatant disregard for the international rules-based order. As someone proud to represent a significant Hong Kong community in Bolton West, I've heard firsthand the devastating effects of Beijing's authoritarian rule. Indeed, many of my constituents were effectively forced from their old homes in Hong Kong by the destruction of Hong Kong's democratic freedoms. So let us be clear. Beijing's actions towards Taiwan do not exist in isolation. They are part of a broader pattern of behaviour that is China's consistent and blatant disregard for the international rules-based system. We only need to look at Tibet, where Beijing has systematically suppressed cultural and religious freedoms, and at Xinjiang, where atrocities have been committed repeatedly against the Uyghurs, and at Hong Kong, where the Sino-British Joint Declaration has been torn asunder. And now Taiwan. Beijing has escalated its military posturing, imposed economic coercion, and engaged in cyber warfare, all aimed at undermining Taiwan's vibrant democracy and intimidating its people. Indeed, China's deliberate distortion of UN Resolution 2758 is a prime example of how Beijing disregards the international rules-based system to push its own narrative. And I would like to emphasise, crucially, that Resolution 2758 did not address the sovereignty of the island of Taiwan, nor preclude Taiwan from having representation at the United Nations or other international organisations. Yet Beijing has sought to change historic documents and records, including at the United Nations, to allege the resolution claims that Taiwan is an inalienable part of China's territory. Madam Deputy Speaker, this blatant misrepresentation of UN Resolution 2758 is not just an attack on Taiwan, it is an assault on the integrity of the international system that we champion. This behaviour also stands in direct opposition to the UK's long-standing position on Taiwan.
IPAC 的联合主席伊恩·邓肯还在同场会议中呼吁英国政府要优先考虑提高中国在他们外国风险登记表的级数，以表明他们认为中国的行为不可接受。
And one of the ways the government could start by doing that is to go back and look again at the risk register that we had started under the previous government. We should be moving China now onto the higher tier of the risk register. That would send a very strong signal to the Chinese government that we are serious about our behaviour. And I want to end simply by saying this to the right honourable lady who will answer. I know the government wants to increase and improve its trade with China, and I understand why they want to do that. My concern, though, at the end of it all, is we can't also detach our desire for commercial engagement from the real engagement, which is about the way that a state treats its people that live there and the way that it behaves to its neighbours.
这边补充一下，这段他提到的外国风险登记表是用来防范外国势力通过秘密活动干预英国的政治，或对英国国家安全造成威胁的登记表。因此，如果英国把中国风险提高，也等于是要更加防范中国人到英国的意思。而最后，在本场辩论结尾，由英国外交部的政务次官韦斯特代表英国政府发言，他明确表达英国的立场。
And on this point, and as members have raised here today, we believe there's a misconception in many quarters on what the UN General Assembly Resolution 2758 from 1971 determined. The UK's view is that the UN Resolution 2758 did indeed decide that only the People's Republic of China should represent China in the United Nations. But as the member for East Renfrewshire said, it made no separate or additional determination on the status of Taiwan, and it should not therefore be used to preclude Taiwan's meaningful participation in the UN or the wider international system on the basis that I have already set out. And that is why the UK opposes any attempts to broaden the interpretation of Resolution 2758, to rewrite history, or as I have said, I do not believe that would be in the interests of the people of Taiwan, but neither would it be in the UK or global interests.
那带各位一起看完以上片段，不知道大家有什么想法，欢迎影片下方留言分享。我是认为这次英国的动议与其他国采取类似协议或声明，已经形成一股支持台湾的国际声浪。这些行动不仅反映了各国对中共的不满，也显示越来越多的民主国家愿意共同支持台湾的国际地位，对抗来自中国的压力。特别是韦斯特代表英国政府的发言，进一步强化了英国在台湾议题上的立场。尤其是他提到改写历史一词，展现了英国对中国的扩大权势保持警惕。这种强硬且明确的表态，为其他国家提供了参考范例，也让台湾在国际舞台上有更多的支持力量。台湾的国际地位议题正受到许多国家的重视，也凸显了台湾的国际参与不再只是区域性的问题，而是攸关全球秩序与民主价值的重大议题。台湾可以当世界的台湾，但不能当中国的台湾。那国际消息看完之后，接着带各位来看一下台湾本周的热门话题，那就是马英九带中国共青团来台交流。也先提醒各位朋友，中国共识里面会有 有党支部，中国的校园也会有共青团，这些都跟中共有关。台湾有些人在说政治不要进入校园，结果马英九直接带中共国的政治来进入你台湾校园。这一团来台的成员不是共青团团员，就是共产党党员，像是马龙、杨倩以及带队的邱勇，是北京清华大学中共党委书记。过来的成员都是中共挑过的，表面说是交流，实际上是来想办法统战跟做大外宣。不过最初他们刚到的时间台湾还在风靡棒球，因此初期大多数人除了有特别在关注政治时事的之外，其他台湾民众是没过多在意。是说我本来觉得这样也不能全算坏事，因为没人在意等于他们来做白宫嘛，就是不能做大外宣了。但没想到后来其中一位上海复旦大学的中国学生反客为主，在面对记者受访时说了这样一段话：
这一次我们台湾队在12强里面拿下世界冠军，对于这样的现象有什么样的感想吗？
我先代表这个师生访问团向中国台北队获得世界冠军表示祝贺。然后我也希望就是大陆和台湾同胞可以像这个中信兄弟你们 brothers 一样，我们一起为这个祖国在棒球这个领域的更上一层楼，一起努力，一起进步。
好，谁跟你中国台北啊？人家记者明明问的是台湾队，这小粉还硬是要来一句，而且谁跟你 brother 啊？当你的 neighbor 就已经够厌烦了，证明真的太重要了。Chinese Taipei 就是会这样被小粉吃豆腐，反正中华台北也只能安慰自己，人家就是直接给你讲中国台北，然后画面传回去墙内广为宣传，洗脑出更多小粉，让他们以为台湾真的是中共的。我们台湾队的选手在受访时特别强调自己来自台湾，并穿台湾帽 T 不是没原因的。身在前线的他们看到这些事情的感受，一定比我们一般民众更为深刻。但马英九带来的统战团，除了亲门踏户来台湾吃你台湾人豆腐之外，讲这话同时也是在用中国台北这4个字来强行夺取台湾队努力了10几年，好不容易辛苦迎来的世界冠军，真正是假人告告。于是在这之后，开始有许多台湾人不满了。没想到马英九基金会执行长萧旭成却向大众表示：“
你也可以讲中国台湾啊，说我们同属一中。”
这回应只能说是火上添油啊，都要让 Porter 老师大吐一口老血。一想到马英九领的退休俸还是我们台湾人的纳税金，我整个人就不舒服了。也不止我不舒服，这些言论一出来，除了刺激到台湾的棒球迷之外，也刺激到许多支持台湾民主自由的学生。隔天，该统战团在参观台大校园时，就遇到一群台大学生举牌要跟他们交流。
大家好，我们是一群来自台大的学生，我们关心台湾民主，我们想跟你们分享香港的民主运动，我们想跟你分享新疆人权问题，我们支持香港民主运动，台大学生爱自由，中国同学来交流，台大学生爱自由。性别的平等，平反六四天安门事件，这个咱们，这里不是中国台北，这里不是中国台北，我要交流，这里不是中国台北。
谢谢台大学生发声啊！但怎么中国同学说要来台交流，反而一直往前跑呢？从参访变成串访台湾啦。隔天该团到清大的时候，也遇到非常热情的学生要交流。这之中还可以看到一些当初四通桥事件的标语哦，不要谎言，要尊严。也有拉布条向中国学生强调交流要平等，民主是前提。甚至还有看到举平反六四的牌子。而后来在采访时，清大学生直接问萧敢不敢拿国旗，结果面对眼前有中配举着5星旗以及其他中国学生在旁边的情况，他迟迟不敢拿，还反过来质疑清大学生，说要他拿国旗是一种专制。事后更是对媒体放话，说干扰他的那些学生都是1450跟侧翼。马办这就是要把所有不满的声音都贴上侧翼标签来解决。以及中山女高在被中国共青团拜访后，被中国媒体戏称马龙进了盘丝洞，结果引起台湾家长们不满抗议。马办发言人又回呛说，那些都是支持民进党的家长，还要对方不要扩大事件，一言不合就怪别人是绿色家长，那你肯定是红色执行长，舔共你专场，自台共产党。这之中不满的家长，搞不好有一些其他政党的支持者，人家只是自己的女儿被乱讲话不满抗议而已，结果就通通被贴标签成了侧翼。国旗的事情也一样荒谬，选举的时候拿国旗都没问题，结果共青团面前请他拿一下，就扯说你要他拿国旗是专制行为。不用说台派啊，这如果是华派的朋友看到应该也是摇头。也谢谢那些清大学生勇敢站出来捍卫台湾主权。是说平时网络上会有一些搞不清楚状况的网友爱在那骂绿共， 共的啊？怎么现在真的中共党员整团出现在台湾了？那些挨骂的却反而安静了。台湾真的有绿共的话，那些中国学生已经被抓起来了啦，哪还能在那边让他趁中国台北嘞？那不知道大家对于这件事有何看法？欢迎影片下方留言分享。今天影片就先聊到这边，喜欢我的影片请帮我按赞加订阅，也欢迎使用超级感谢或加入我 YouTube 频道会员支持这个单元运作。我是波头王，我们下次影片见，拜拜。